Hello students, again this is Saloni and happy to meet you back. So I am back with my topics. Let's discuss first what we have discussed in our last lectures. We discussed about what is an electrolyte, what is conductance, specific conductance, molar conductance, the effect of dilution on specific and molar conductance. We have seen about ionic mobility, transport number. Also, we have discussed some basic numericals. So let's continue with the next topic. Next topic is about a variation of molar conductivity or molar conductance with dilution. Already discussed this part, like with dilution, the molar conductance also increases. That is okay, but it is the case is different when we discuss about strong electrolytes and when we discuss about weak electrolytes. Normally, obviously, with dilution, the molar conductance will increase. But there are two different cases. Like in strong electrolytes, it will vary differently, and for weak electrolytes, it will vary differently. So let's have a look on that. Okay. First, let's discuss about strong electrolytes. Strong electrolytes. What were the examples? NaCl, NaOH. Okay. Any one of these. Okay. KCl. Okay. Look, if I am taking a strong electrolyte and putting it in a solvent, okay, so after a lot of dilution, I will find the molar conductance is increasing. Molar conductance is increasing, but what? So this complete phenomena for strong electrolytes, it was given by an equation that was Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation. This is the basic equation for strong electrolytes dissociation. Okay. Now, if I am talking about a strong electrolyte, suppose KCl, K positive plus Cl negative, completely dissociated. Even if I add a lot of water in it, it is already completely dissociated in the solution. Okay, whether I take 10 liter water or whether I take 100 liter water, already a particular amount of KCl is completely dissociated in the solution. So, dilution will not affect the degree of dissociation of electrolyte because it is already completely dissociated. It will only affect, like if the ions are like this, in 100 ml, the ions will become this in 1 liter. Okay, so it will reduce the inter-ionic forces between ions of strong electrolytes and it will give them some space to move. As a result, the ionic mobility will increase and molar conductance will increase. So we can say in case of strong electrolytes, there is nothing about a degree of dissociation because already they are completely dissociated. So they just ionic mobility only increases because they get a space to move. Okay, you can get it. So also I can say that with increase in dilution, when I am talking about, one second. Okay, so when I am talking about the strong electrolytes, with increase in dilution, there is not that much increase in molar conductance that we should expect because degree of dissociation didn't increase, it was same. Only the ionic mobility somewhat increased. So that's why a lot of change is not noticed. Like it will increase but not, it will increase linearly but not exponentially. There is not much increase. Okay, let's focus on the equation. This is molar conductivity at infinite dilution minus A plus B into molar conductance at infinite dilution into root C. Okay, this is C's concentration. Please don't get confused. This is concentration. Okay, what are these A and B factors? They depend on the type of electrolyte we are taking. Like if I am taking NaCl, A and B will have different value. If I am taking KCl, A and B will have different value. No need to know these values of A and B for different electrolytes. Already in the paper it will be mentioned like what is the value of A and B for a particular electrolyte. Okay, so this equation is lambda m equal to lambda naught m minus A plus B lambda naught m root C. Okay, so this equation basically, the Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation is basically giving me a relation between molar conductance and the concentration. Okay, now I can see a graph. Okay, now I can see a graph between molar conductance and the concentration. If I plot a graph, okay, let me give you some basic knowledge again. I'm sorry, I'm so fond of basic knowledge first. Okay, so if we read about the equation of line mx plus c, this is the equation for a straight line. When we compare this and this equation, let's try to compare. Lambda m equal to minus A plus B lambda naught m root c plus lambda m. This is not. Okay. So if we compare this equation with the equation of a straight line, you can get the value of y, that is, okay, we are plotting a graph between lambda m versus x. X is what? Root c. Okay, this is x. Okay, so what will be our slope? Just compare between these two things. Slope will be a negative slope of A plus B. Negative sign simply shows here decreasing slope. I will tell you in the graph, wait. So this is the value of a slope. It is coming negative, okay, and the numerical value is A plus B lambda naught m. And what is the intercept? Intercept is lambda naught m. Okay, is this clear? If you are clear with this, you will get this. When I was plotting a graph between molar conductance versus root c, I got a straight line. Okay, straight line. Okay, if I will extrapolate this line, like if it will move towards the y-axis, okay, see at this point, the concentration here becomes 0. You can see concentration becomes 0, and at concentration 0, you know what is the value of molar conductance? The molar conductance attains its maximum value, that is molar conductance at infinite dilution. So you can see this value is lambda naught m, that is the molar conductance at infinite dilution. Also one can find, like with increasing dilution, or we can see with decreasing concentration, the molar conductance is increasing. You can see with decreasing concentration, the molar conductance is increasing. One thing to note, it is increasing linearly because it is following the equation of a line. Okay, you can see. I hope there is not much problem in this. It is very easy. Okay. Up to now, you should get clear this point, like if I am talking about a strong electrolyte, the molar conductance of strong electrolyte with respect to the dilution, like variation of molar conductance with dilution for a strong electrolyte is given by this equation, Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation. Okay, one more limitation, like it is valid at lower concentration. At lower concentration of what? At lower concentration of electrolyte. Okay. So this was just a basic thing. Now you will ask, like we are ready with the strong electrolytes, but what about weak electrolytes like acetic acid, ammonium hydroxide? What is their case? So I will discuss weak electrolytes. Let's go back to a story. With increase in dilution, what was increasing? Molar conductance was increasing. Why it was increasing? Because degree of dissociation was increasing. In case of strong electrolytes, this degree of dissociation doesn't meant a lot, but here it will meant a lot because the weak electrolytes itself, they have a weaker dissociation. And when I talk about weak electrolytes, this will matter a lot. because with increase in dilution their degree of dissociation can increase because they were weakly dissociated. So now they can dissociate more into their ions, and more into ions means an increase in ionic conductance. Ions will be more mobile, ionic conductance will increase, as a result the molar conductance will increase. And since the degree of dissociation is increasing the ionic mobility, because degree of dissociation is now increasing, the ionic mobility will increase at a much higher rate, and the molar and the molar conductance will increase at a much higher rate. So you will get an exponential curve. It will not, like we have seen for strong electrolyte the curve was like something this, but here it is like this. You can see with increasing dilution or decreasing concentration, we are going here. The molar conductance is increasing but not linearly, it is increasing exponentially, like it is going like this. So how you will extrapolate this graph and how you will find the lambda naught m? Here you extrapolated the graph and you easily find the lambda naught m for strong electrolytes. But here, how will you find the lambda naught m? Because this graph is going like this. Exponential curve is going like this. So this brings us to the another important topic, like how we will find the lambda naught m for weak electrolytes. That is given by Kohlrausch law. It is very important topic for the competitive exams like mains and NEET. So we'll discuss that. Another important thing is this. The degree of dissociation is given by molar conductance divided by molar conductance at infinite dilution. Please note it is very important for numericals. The degree of dissociation is given by molar conductance divided by the molar conductance at infinite dilution. Now I will discuss about the Kohlrausch law, and then we will do some numericals on it, and I think that would be more than enough for the ionics part. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the Kohlrausch law. Already I have said you that if we have to find the molar conductance at infinite dilution for weak electrolytes, so we can use this law, because for strong electrolytes we have already seen it through the Debye-Huckel-on-Sagar equation. Now I am going to discuss. Also students, like I have seen many previous questions from this topic only, and there were some questions on the theory part. So I have very effectively written the theory part. Please note it and read it nicely, because the questions were coming not only from the numericals but also from the theory. So please note that. Okay. So at infinite dilution, when the dissociation is complete, okay, each ion makes a definite contribution towards the molar conductivity irrespective of the nature of other ion with which it is associated. Okay, like we can consider if it's HCl and H positive plus Cl negative. So when we will reach at a stage like at infinite dilution, we will get molar conductance at infinite dilution. So it will have a contribution of this H plus and this Cl negative independently. Like they will H plus, the contribution of molar conductance of H positive will not depend on Cl negative, and the Cl negative contribution will not depend on H positive. They will independently contribute towards the molar conductivity. Okay, so they will independently contribute. Also, one can find if I am taking HCl and I am talking about NaCl. So here at infinite dilution of both these, okay, at infinite dilution of both these, the molar conductance of Cl negative, for anion I will show it like this. Okay, for molar conductance of this, the molar conductance of Cl negative, you can write at infinite dilution, and obviously for NaCl also contains chloride, so we can see the molar conductance at infinite dilution for this Cl negative. Since they are not depending on the type of ion they are associated, like this is associated to H positive, this is associated to Na positive, it will not depend and these values will be same only. That I was saying, like the molar conductance at infinite dilution doesn't depend with which ion it is associated, it will contribute independently. So both of these values will be same only. Okay, so the molar conductance at infinite dilution for a given salt can be expressed as sum of the individual contributions from the ions of the electrolyte, from the cation part, from the anion part. This is the molar conductance at infinite dilution of the cation, molar conductance at infinite dilution of the anion. Now, according to the Kohlrausch law of independent migration of ions, you can directly write the total molar conductance at infinite dilution of the electrolyte is given by number of cation into the molar conductance at infinite dilution of the cation plus the number of anion into the molar conductance at infinite dilution of the, this is negative, okay, of the anion. So they are independently contributing towards the total molar conductance of the electrolyte. Okay, this is the number of cation, this is the number of anion, this is the lambda naught positive, like it is for cation, and this is the molar conductance at infinite dilution for anion. Okay, like suppose you have HCl, it will dissociate H positive plus Cl negative. Number of cation you will get 1. The nu positive for HCl will be 1. Nu negative 1 chloride, the nu negative also will be 1. For MgCl2, how it will dissociate? I think you should know the basic dissociation, how they are getting dissociated. Mg2 positive plus 2 Cl negative. Number of cation, see only one Mg2 positive you have got. So mu positive equal to 1 and you have got 2 chlorides. The nu negative becomes 2. Okay, this will help you. Read these statements very nicely and then we will solve some basic numericals from the previous year part. So students, this is a question from the previous year NEET 2019. Okay, the question is, following limiting molar conductivities are given. Limiting molar conductivity means the molar conductance at infinite dilution only. Okay, don't get confused. Okay, so we are given with H2SO4 lambda naught m, X, this is X, Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. For K2SO4 we are given, for CH3COOK we are given, it is Z, I am sorry, it is Z, okay. And we have to find for CH3COH. So using this data, using the data of these three, we have to find the lambda naught m for CH3COH, lambda naught m for CH3COH. Okay, so we will find lambda naught m for H2SO4 is given X for H2SO4. Okay, first think how H2SO4 will dissociate. It will give strong electrolyte, directly give 2H positive, SO4 2 negative. Okay, 2 positive will be 2 cations, anion number 1. Okay, so you can simply write lambda naught m for H2SO4, that is equal to X, number of, okay, first I should write the formula so that you get it nicely. What was the law? Lambda naught m for electrolyte, number of cations, lambda naught positive plus number of anions, lambda naught negative. Okay, so for H2SO4 what lambda naught m is given? It is given X equal to number of cations 2 lambda naught of cation. What is the cation here? H positive. This is what? This is molar conductance for cation, molar conductance for anion. number of anions are given 1, so directly, and lambda naught negative is what? Sulfate, SO4 negative. This is equation number 1. Okay, another equation. Now we will do the same thing for K2SO4. K2SO4 will dissociate like strong electrolyte, directly give 2K positive, SO4 2 negative. Okay, lambda naught using this equation. Okay, lambda naught M for K2SO4 is given as Y equal to number of cations 2, lambda naught of K positive plus anion 1, lambda naught of SO4 2 negative. This is equation number 2. Similarly, equation number 3 for CH3 COOK. How it will dissociate? Acetate ion K positive. Okay, equation will be Z equal to number of cation anion 1 only to lambda naught of acetate K positive. Okay, I hope you are getting these formulas. Okay, this first dissociate every electrolyte and make these equations. This is a very important part to understand. Okay, now what exactly was asked? CH3 COOH lambda naught value. Okay, so how it will dissociate? CH3 CO negative plus K positive, sorry, it is H positive. Okay, if I write according to Kohlrausch law, lambda naught M for CH3COH, which I have to find, it will be given by, since they are 1, it is 1, it can be directly given as lambda naught for acetate plus lambda naught of H positive. So simply what I can see, if I find this and this, the sum of these two values, I can reach to my result. Okay, if I find the lambda naught of CH3CO negative and lambda naught of H positive, I can simply sum them to find lambda naught M for CH3COH. So I have to use these three results to find it. Okay, I have to find this. So this is given here. Okay, so equation 3. In equation 3, I have to add lambda naught H positive. Where it is given, we can see here it is given, but we can see it is 2 times. Okay. Also, we have to cut another values, like we have to make such a pattern like these extra values will get cut, like this 2K positive. What I can do, this is 2 lambda naught K positive, and in this equation also lambda naught K positive. So what I can do, 2 into equation 3. If I completely multiply this equation with 2 and then minus equation 2, I can easily remove this K positive. Okay, now coming to equation number 1, I have to simply add this equation. Let's find what we get. This is LHS, this is RHS. Okay, 2 times of equation 3, that is 2Z minus equation 2, it was Y. Do this same calculation for all the LHS and do the same for RHS. Okay, 2Z minus Y plus 1, equation 1 was plus X. Okay, Now this side 2 times of equation 3, it will become 2 times of lambda naught CH3 COO negative, okay, plus lambda naught of K positive. It was 2 times, okay, 2 times. Simply multiply 2 in equation number 3. This side also, this side also. Now minus equation 2. Minus equation 2 already did minus y. That side also minus 2 lambda naught K positive. Okay. Minus 2 times, sorry, this is not 2 times. Minus lambda naught of SO4 2 negative. Okay, is this fine? Now plus equation 1. Plus equation 1 means plus x already did, plus that side, plus 2 of lambda naught H positive plus lambda naught SO4 2 negative. I have simply made all these equations in this way, so I can cut all these values and only get my last result. Okay, I have just seen, like, I have to cancel this sulfate and another sulfate, this sulfate and this sulfate, all I have to cut. So simply I have make equation of that type. I can see this is 2 lambda naught K positive, 2 lambda naught K positive. I can cut them simply. Okay, this is lambda naught of SO4 2 negative, lambda naught of SO plus minus, so I can cut them. Okay, what is left? This value and this value. Okay, I need some space. Just simply look what exact equation you want and then use the different equation in a similar way so that all other values get cancelled and only the value that is required left. Okay, so what I am left? 2z minus y plus x equal to 2 lambda naught of acetatine plus 2 lambda naught of H positive ion. Now taking 2 in common, lambda naught of CH3CO negative plus lambda naught. Okay, what was this value? It was 2 lambda naught of CH3 of the complete electrolyte. This value was giving me the molar conductance of the complete electrolyte, and this is given by x minus y plus 2z. So simply keeping this 2 here, we have found the molar conductance at infinite dilution for acetic acid, that is x minus y plus 2z divided by 2. This is the answer. Also in competitors sometimes you can get option like this, x minus y divided by 2 plus z, like you simply separate, basic maths you can do. Okay, so this is the answer. I hope you got. Also I will give you one question so that you can practice it and you can respond me in the comment section so that I can find like you guys are also practicing the numericals or not. Okay students, like this is the last topic I am going to cover in Inex. This is Ostwald's dilution law. In case of weak electrolytes, I generally told you like they are not completely dissociated, there exists a equilibrium. Suppose you have a electrolyte AB, it will dissociate like this, A positive and B negative, not completely, there exists a equilibrium between the undissociated part and dissociated part. Okay. Okay, so suppose like the initial, this is your electrolyte and initially you have take C concentration of electrolyte, C concentration of electrolyte. Let me tell you what is degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation is the dissociated or the associated concentration divided by the initial concentration. Okay, suppose initially I have taken 1 molar. Okay, initially I have taken 1 molar. After that it dissociated, like 0.5 molar part got dissociated. So alpha is simply dissociated part 0.5 molar, and initially I have taken 1 molar. So this is the degree of dissociation. Okay. Okay. So simply alpha is dissociated or associated concentration that divided by initial concentration. Here I have taken initial concentration C. Okay. So alpha, here I will put C. Okay. So alpha into C equal to dissociated or associated concentration. Is it? Dissociated concentration. Okay. So this is C. This is initial concentration, and when I have taken this concentration, it will have no value. Like it is not dissociated, simply it is not dissociated. At time t, means after some time, I will see it will somewhat dissociate. So C minus how much dissociated concentration? It is C alpha. Like this part got dissociated. So I can simply say C minus C alpha because this part got dissociated, and A positive because this is the, it will exist A positive in this concentration, B negative also in this concentration. Initially this concentration was there. After dissociation it simply dissociated into dissociated concentration C alpha. The C alpha A positive will be present. This is my whole concentration. This concentration of A positive is present in the solution, this concentration of B negative, and simply from the initial amount AB, that is undissociated part now. This is undissociated and this is dissociated ions. Okay. So what is the concentration of undissociated part left? It is simply C taken common 1 minus alpha. Okay. This is the concentration of undissociated part, and this is the concentration of dissociated ions at time t or after time t. Simple. Hope you get the point. What exactly is degree of dissociation? Okay. Now, if you have read about dissociation constant K, okay, it is given by the dissociated product A positive, B negative upon the undissociated product. Now tell me the value at time t. A positive value C alpha into C alpha, B negative value AB's value was C 1 minus alpha. Simply cut this C with this C and you will get C alpha square 1 minus alpha. What is alpha? Alpha is simply the degree of dissociation. Okay. Now what I am talking? I am talking about the case of weak electrolytes. So we know for weak electrolyte degree of dissociation is very less, like they dissociate very less. They don't dissociate completely, they dissociate less. That's why they conduct less. Okay. So alpha is very less for weak electrolyte. So we can simply take alpha is very less than 1. So we can ignore alpha and we can find C alpha square. Divide by 1 means C alpha square only. So we simply got K equal to, K was the dissociation constant. So this is an important result. Just for your knowledge, K is the dissociation constant for weak electrolytes, that is given by C alpha square, where C is the initial concentration of the electrolyte you have taken. Alpha is the degree of dissociation of the electrolyte. It is very less, but here after subtracting it from 1, it is negligible, like as compared to 1 it was negligible. So we simply ignored it, only 1. So it is the dissociation constant of a weak electrolyte is given by the initial concentration of weak electrolyte multiplied by the square of the degree of dissociation of the weaker electrolyte. I hope you got my point. So this was simply Ostwald dilution law. It is applied for weaker electrolytes. Okay. Now homework question time. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is a homework question. It is at 25 degrees Celsius, molar conductance of a 0.1 molar aqueous solution of ammonium hydroxide is 9.54 ohm inverse centimeter square mole inverse, and at infinite dilution its molar conductance is 238 ohm inverse centimeter square mole inverse. The degree of ionization of ammonium hydroxide at the same concentration and temperature is. I will give you a reference. I am not going to solve it for you. You have to solve, you have to work hard to do all these numericals and practice more. Okay, I'll just give a hint. Here molar conductance is given, lambda m is given, molar conductance at infinite dilution is given, and you have to find the degree of ionization. Don't get confused, degree of ionization is nothing but degree of dissociation, and that is alpha. I have given you a very important hint, like here degree of dissociation alpha is asked, and alpha is simply lambda m upon lambda naught m. So you can easily solve this. Alpha is equals to lambda m upon lambda naught m, and also sometimes in competitors it is asked to find that in percentage, like percentage degree of dissociation. So simply multiply this with 100%. Okay, you will find the degree of dissociation in percentage. So this is a very important. I think I solved the complete question only for you. You have to just simply do the mathematical calculations. Okay, so this is the percentage degree of dissociation. Okay, this question is very important. It is one of the previous year questions only. So see how easy question it was. If you just simply remember the basic formulas, you can easily do this. Okay. So this was all from my side. Thank you so much. Stay connected and stay updated for much more important videos on another topics. And I have completed all the ionics part. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.